All right. We're going to be diving into something pretty interesting today, something called RoleCatcher. And, you strike me as someone who likes to be really prepared on top of things. So imagine if you had like this tool, right? That could like wrangle all those different job boards, all those applications, all that interview prep that you have to do into one central location.
Right.
That's the idea behind RoleCatcher. And we've got a couple articles here that really kind of break down how it works and what it does.
Yeah, what I find interesting about RoleCatcher is that it's really trying to solve like a problem that I think we all face when we're on the job search, which is that it's so scattered. You're on like 5 different websites, you're tailoring your resume for every application, and then there's the whole like interview preparation beast.
Right.
And RoleCatcher's trying to streamline all of that.
So no more like feeling like you're drowning in a sea of browser tabs, constantly refreshing Indeed.com.
Exactly. Yeah, and one of the features I think that really stood out to me when I was reading these articles is how it aggregates job postings.
Okay.
So instead of you having to go to 5 different job boards every day, RoleCatcher will like pull all those listings into one place.
Oh,
And I think especially for somebody with, very specific career goals like yourself, that could be a huge time saver.
yeah, especially if you're looking for something as targeted as, say, a Navy officer position.
Right.
Speaking of which, the articles mentioned this AI-powered CV analysis. Is it as smart as it sounds?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty impressive because it goes beyond just like scanning for keywords.
Okay.
We're talking about AI that can actually understand the skills and experience a job description is really looking for.
Yeah.
So, for example, like it might be able to pick up on the fact that leadership skills are really important for a Navy officer role, even if the words leadership or manage aren't explicitly used in the description.
Wow.
And then it analyzes your CV to see how well like your experience actually stacks up.
That's way more than just a glorified spell checker.
It is, yeah. And get this, it can actually give you suggestions on how to like tweak your CV to better align with what employers are looking for.
Okay, now that's what I call working smarter, not harder.
Precisely, and it doesn't even stop there.
Oh, there's more.
RoleCatcher also has this massive database of interview questions, and you can even get AI-powered feedback on your practice sessions.
Wait, hold on. AI feedback on interview practice. Tell me more about how that works.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool. You can record yourself like answering common interview questions.
Okay.
And the AI will analyze things like your tone of voice, your pace, even like the content of your answers,
Wow.
and give you pointers on how to improve.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach, just like in your pocket, ready to like, help you fine-tune your delivery and make sure you're hitting all the right points.
Exactly. And it'll even like pull up relevant questions from its database based on the specific job that you're applying for.
That's incredible. And speaking of specific jobs, let's put this to the test. Like, you're interested in a career as a Navy officer, right?
Right.
The articles mention that RoleCatcher has resources for specific career paths. So imagine you're using it to really dig into those Navy officer job postings.
Okay.
Like, how would that work?
Yeah, so that's where it gets really powerful because remember all those keywords and skills we were talking about. RoleCatcher can actually analyze those Navy officer job descriptions and pinpoint exactly what employers are looking for.
Okay.
Like it could even tell you things like, hey, 75% of the postings mention experience with X, but your CV doesn't highlight that at all.
Oh, wow.
Or like make sure to emphasize your leadership skills as they are mentioned in like 90% of postings.
Wow, that takes all the guesswork out of it.
Exactly.
You're not just like throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping something sticks.
Yeah.
You know exactly what they want, and you can tailor it to exactly what they're looking for.
And remember that interview question database we talked about?
Yep.
It's not just general questions. It has specific questions related to being a Navy officer.
So you could practice answering questions like, what inspired you to pursue a career as a Navy officer? Or, how have your experiences prepared you for the challenges of this role?
Yes.
And then get that AI feedback to really help you nail those responses.
Yes, and like, let's say you're facing a particularly tough question. You can actually pull up guidance from RoleCatcher on how to structure your answer, what key points to cover.
Wow.
Even get inspiration from how other people have answered it successfully.
That could be a game changer for anybody who, gets a little nervous during interviews, especially for those high-stakes roles where you really want to shine.
Absolutely. And it's not even just about giving like the perfect answer.
Right.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes showcasing your unique strengths and personality,
Wow.
even in the interview context.
So it's helping you strike that balance between, presenting yourself in a way that, algorithms like, but then also like bringing your genuine self to the table.
That's exactly it. But, while RoleCatcher can be like a really powerful tool, it's
Yeah.
important to remember that it is just that it's a tool.
It's not like a magic bullet.
Exactly.
It's about how you use it to your advantage.
Right. And that's an important point to consider, I think, because the value proposition of a tool like this really depends on how well it fits into your like overall job search strategy.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Mm.
Is RoleCatcher really worth it?
Mhm.
Especially for someone like you who, you strike me as someone who values efficiency and thoroughness. So we've really dug into what RoleCatcher can do.
Yeah.
But the big question for our listeners, you out there, is it actually worth it?
Right.
Is it worth your time? Is it worth your energy to invest in something like this?
Yeah. And I think especially for someone like yourself, where you're someone who I think really values efficiency,
Yeah.
you like to do things thoroughly. You like to have all your ducks in a row.
Right.
It seems like RoleCatcher is kind of designed for that.
Yeah, it's like having a super organized assistant who's like hyper-focused on your career.
Exactly. No more like scattered notes, no more missed deadlines.
Yeah, and imagine you're no longer just like applying to any job that seems remotely interesting, right? Like
Right.
you're using these insights to really laser focus your efforts on the roles that you're actually a good fit for.
Yeah. And you're not just sending out like a generic application, you're armed with the knowledge of what employers are looking for. So you can really tailor that CV
Exactly.
and that cover letter to really, highlight the best parts of what you've done and what you bring to the table.
And think about all the time you're saving by not having to spend hours on Indeed.com.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah, just like mindlessly clicking.
Yeah, that's time that you could be using to, actually further develop your skills or network with people in your field or even just like take a break, right?
Right.
Avoid burnout because job searching is so draining.
It is. It's a full-time job in and of itself. And it's not just about finding any job.
Right.
It's about finding the right job. Exactly. And that's where I think RoleCatcher really has the potential to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing your own judgment or effort, but it's about giving you the tools and insights to approach it with a lot more confidence.
Absolutely.
And clarity.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed, instead of feeling lost in a sea of job postings, you can navigate this whole process strategically.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're putting your best foot forward.
Exactly. I think this has been a really great conversation about RoleCatcher.
It has.
And how it can be helpful, but it also kind of brings up this bigger question
Okay.
of, in a world that's increasingly reliant on technology and algorithms and AI, how can we use these things to actually benefit us and help us achieve our goals?
Yeah.
And not just in our careers, but in our lives more broadly. So something interesting to think about.
That is a great question to leave our listeners with today. And we hope this deep dive into RoleCatcher has given you a new perspective on how technology can be a really powerful tool in your career journey. And like we always say, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your career